keep this part.
Yeah, I know, that'll be the outtake bit, exactly. Yeah, sorry.
Shauna, can you tell us who you are? Yeah, Shauna, can you tell us who you are and what do you do?
Yeah, so my name's Shanna, as you said, and I'm the company director of Shanna in Property, and I'm a deal sourcing company, and I help investors to find properties normally below market value or discounted in the Croydon or London area.
Love it.
And my kind of business model is like building relationships with investors so that I can find out what they want, their needs for the properties, so that I can find.
Do you get like a shopping list of what they're looking for?
Yes,
nice,
that's
I
it.
like that.
Yeah, and it's nice because if I personally aren't ready to buy those properties myself, I can actually, like you said, almost like a personal shopper. I'm shopping for the investor to find, the
and
perfect
hopefully a
deal.
nice commission fee if you pass them on.
Yes,
there's a win-win, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
And I try as well to make it work for the vendor as well, because sometimes they need a fast sale, and if the investor's got the cash or the finance to do that quicker than a conventional sale, then it helps to make things go smoothly.
You don't need agents and stuff then, do you?
I do like to work with agents, but my model, I can do it independently with,
So it's more of a personal touch with you as well, isn't it?
Yes.
So then you build the relationship with your clients, potential investors as well.
Yes. Also, another part of my business as well, which is quite new, which I'll be helping with Sharon, is helping businesses where maybe they've got, 1 to 5 people that are working in a service desk or working from home, and they want to move to a commercial unit. I can help to source and find those units through my connections. So that's So I want to help you to do that as well. No problem.
So how did you first get started into property businesses, and what made you want to start your own business?
Yeah, because that was quite an interesting question, because during COVID, so about 3 years ago, 2020, my full-time job is in environmental health, food safety, and there was a lot of conversations about COVID at home, at work, and I just felt I needed something different to listen to. So I was looking on YouTube and I saw some property sourcing investment type videos, and I thought, that looks interesting, and it's a nice way to have additional income but still keep your existing job, because at the time I thought, actually I do want to still stay in environmental health because I like helping people, and I felt that property investing and sourcing is a way of helping people as well.
Okay, so nice little sidelines. Definitely.
Yeah.
In conjunction with your full-time job as well.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But it's also, I think, great for the vendors, because if they have a relationship with you, they might own a lot more property, mightn't they? If they want to get rid of sections, pockets of properties, because they're not doing very well. Much better to have that relationship with you than put it on with an agent and have to sit there for months and months. You've got your bank of your database of people then that you can contact as well, haven't you?
Yes, exactly. And those investors, they'd be qualified as well, so I would do checks on them to make sure they're ready to go. So because I don't want the vendors to get messed around, or the landlords. If somebody wants
your reputation as well.
Yeah, exactly.
What sort of challenges have you faced, Shauna, in doing this? It's hard doing a side hustle as well, isn't it?
Yes.
I've always gone cold turkey and just gone and done it. So I don't need 20 grand a month. Well, let's stop this and let's go and do something that's much harder.
Yeah.
What challenges are you facing? Especially as a young mum as well.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I was gonna say. Is having my family and full-time job, and even just for my own well-being as well. So having that to add on top, it can be quite challenging, but at the same time you kind of can see the end goal, and you kind of think, when I'm aiming for here and I'm gonna get there. So even if there are things like either side of me. I have to try and keep myself focused
Yeah,
on
really
the
good.
end goal.
A woman after my own heart,
Yeah.
very driven.
Yes.
But you've got to have those end goals, haven't you?
Yes, exactly.
You know, you can't just do. I've got all this stuff to do with the school. You know, my kid needs new shoes, or you've got. It's a much bigger goal than that, isn't it? It's
Yes, exactly. And
yeah.
and you just got to, you know, keep yourself going and kind of, you know, I'm looking at my daughter's, you know, eyes, and she's looking at her, and she's like seeing me, and
You're
you
a
know, I
role
want
model.
to, I want her to be, you know, proud,
Yeah.
and I want to be proud of myself as well.
Yeah. And well, we do, you know, we learn from our parents, don't we? You know, I love my dad had companies, and I love that he used to come home and discuss it with us as kids. Even as kids sitting around the table, we used to be asked, you know, what shall I invoice him? He didn't really want to hear, but it was nice to be included. But you must talk about your work as well with your daughter and...
Yeah, exactly. You saying that because in property you do viewings at properties. I've actually taken her to property viewings with me. It's
Me
been
too. My
quite,
daughter hated
yeah,
them.
exactly. And she'd be like, "You're not buying this place, are you?" And I was like, "No, this is for an investor. Don't worry."
We can't live here, Mum.
Exactly.
It's got holes in the roof.
I don't like the stairs, or I don't like the colour of the carpet. It's like stuff like that.
So do you concentrate on residential, or are you commercial, or are you...
Yeah, well, at the moment I'm finding the residential area quite challenging in regards to, especially in London, because it's very expensive.
Yeah.
So I'm looking actually to do go to more towards commercial and helping people that are maybe hot desking in services like you run yourself, or someone where they've got a restaurant or an office and they're outgrowing it and they want something bigger. So I want to kind of go out and help to source those sort of properties.
Yeah, I think
and
there's going to be a good
services.
relationship between us, because as our tenants grow as well, they quite often, we nurture them here. They grow from, say, a 1 to a 3 desk to a 6 to a 10 desk. We've had tenants do that. And then they want somewhere out on the high street or somewhere where they go to be a ratepayer. And that's something, you know, we'd like to get through to the council as well, is that we are the service that is nurturing these companies up. And then we would use somewhere, or we would recommend you to our tenants to help them go and source somewhere.
Yes, yes.
And there would be a fee then for you, wouldn't there?
Yes, exactly. And we can be helping each other, because the people that that will come to me may not quite be ready for commercial units, so they might be more suited for a service desk.
Another service office.
So I think it can, so I think it can be a nice little, you know, to and fro.
Desk team number 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you share a significant challenge that you have come across in your career and how you've overcome that?
I think it's more my mindset, to be fair, because like I said, I work full time for another, like in a job, so balancing that and business, it was like me believing in myself that I am a successful property sourcer and investor. Sometimes in my head I'd be like going, oh, can I do this?
That's that typical imposter syndrome, isn't it? That you think, oh, am I good enough? Can I do it?
I think I'm past that now for me as well. I've been working for 36 years. I had it a lot when I went into property as well, because girls like me shouldn't be in commercial property from 36 years ago. But I think you grow out of it as well. I think I'm after 36 years now, the other side of I'm here, I deserve to be here, I've worked bloody hard, and I'm going to stay. Come on. What you got?
That's it, that gives us all hope, doesn't it?
But I think we do internal battles in our heads, don't we? I think a lot of it is mindset, but I think a lot of it is you're arguing on both shoulders. I can do this, no, I can't do this. You know, who do you think you are? I think a lot of it is internal battle, isn't it?
And I think part of it as well, you kind of take on what people say to you. So
Yes.
it's very easy to, you know, for someone to say something negative
Yeah.
and you hold on to
It's
that.
easier to listen to, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
definitely,
negative.
definitely.
Yeah. Especially if it comes from family or a loved
Yeah.
one or a friend. You know, because they're not seeing the bigger picture.
No.
Inside your head, you've got, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go on to this, and you're seeing everything. You've only got to tell them a little snippet, and that's all they hear. And they go,
What are you doing that for?
Yeah. Of course you can't do that. And you think, oh, can't I?
No.
Yeah. No, that is true, because even, you know, I've had family and friends, even colleagues, kind of at the beginning, especially the start, kind of going, oh, are you sure? You know, that's risky and stuff like that. So it's kind of battling that as well. But being around people that are in property, in business, it's kind of helped to push me, like Sharon said, through, you know, that kind of stage.
How long do you reckon that's taken you to get to that stage?
Oh gosh, it took a while. I'd probably say it was like 18 months, which was probably longer than most, but because of...
I don't think that's long at all. I think that's
Is
quite
it?
short.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was, yeah.
Yeah. And was it listening to friends and family and close ones?
Yeah, and also it was people actually being supportive as well and saying, you know, I see your posts on social media and, you know, it's great what you're doing, because what's interesting about social media as well is you can have all your posts and there's no likes, no comments, but there's people come
read,
to
don't
me,
they?
they come to me and they say they're reading it, so I'm
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, at least I know the work I'm putting in is, you know, working.
Well received.
But I think that's also a relevant point. You're putting in the work, and it's you're doing it when no one's watching.
Yeah.
You're doing it. I know that you would like get up early in the morning to go and do some stuff as well. You're doing it after your daughter goes to bed, and that's what people don't see.
Yes.
They can see what they want to see on social media, can't they?
That's
what a
it.
lovely lifestyle she's got. You know, how lovely. She's just got some money for a fee. Lucky girl. Lucky girl. There's no luck involved, is there?
Honestly.
It's hard work, isn't
Yes,
it?
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, your daughter's lucky to have a mum like you as well.
Oh, thank you.
That's driven. You know, it's going to be. What do you want for your daughter? What do you want her life to be?
Yeah, I kind of want her to build on, you know, what I had, because with my mum, you know, I grew up as a single parent family and in a council flat, and then, you know, she got a council house, and then she managed to get her own house.
Yeah,
So,
well done.
you know, and now I've got my own flat.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm looking to kind of do more than my mum, basically,
Yeah.
and then I want my daughter to kind of be
Overtake
the
you.
next,
Yes.
further than me.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's getting there. So
I think lots of us are from similar backgrounds. We grew up in a council house until my dad could afford, with his companies and stuff, to do that.
okay.
I had two parents. You had just your mum as well, but it drives you, doesn't it?
Honestly,
Yeah.
And I suppose I probably have. I have to say, I was thinking, I wanted to do one step more than my mum, but then I suppose I've got my flat and I've got a business, so I suppose I've already done that. So the next, and then
It's also, don't beat yourself up, because you know, our parents lived in very different times.
yeah, that's true.
It's, you know, they had to contend with women not being able to do stuff and things like that. We have got everything at our fingertips, haven't we? And our children will have even more at their fingertips.
Exactly. And your daughter growing up as well, she's seeing you and what you're doing, and that's
Yeah,
the norm for
strong
her.
woman.
Yes.
It's not a case of where
Yes.
it's the abnormal, it's a case of, when I
Yeah.
grow up, it'll be, you know, set my own
No
business up.
possibilities.
Yeah, exactly. My own
That's it.
place, and, you know.
Yeah, it will be the norm, won't it?
Yeah, that's true. Actually.
Shauna, what qualities do you reckon you need to be like a strong businesswoman to keep pushing through? You know, this stuff's not given to you. It's not a given that you're going to be getting these. You have to go out your way to go and get. So, what makes you successful? What is your meter for measuring yourself?
Well, yeah, I would say it's being consistent, being a good communicator, and also being a good listener, because especially in property investing, you know, you have to listen to the vendor, you have to listen to the investor, you have to know what people want and understand why they want those things. So when
you can probably misinterpret them as well, couldn't you?
Exactly. So that's why building the relationships with them, those categories of people is what helps to build that. And I think being a female, that helps because you got that kind of emotional kind of touch as well, because you want to help in regards to helping them. It's not just about the money. No. It's about kind of I want a win-win kind of thing, because then it's going to be a win-win-win for everybody.
But they're going to remember as well how you made them feel, how you looked after them, and hopefully come back again.
Exactly.
I've got this other property.
That's it.
Can you help me with that?
I suppose it's the experience as well. Like that experience that you give to them is all part of the why they will come back to you with their next property that they're looking for.
That's it. And also having like a structured sort of plan on how I, when I have the first kind of communication, I kind of say this is like an introduction email, and then this is what I, then I do a Zoom call, and then I meet up in person.
It's like a blueprint of
how on how I kind of introduce myself to people. Because I don't just go bang, I'm going to buy you that.
Got a building, it's 10 grand. Do you want it?
Exactly.
Do you want it?
Exactly, because they'll
It's
be
a bit
like,
more.
exactly. And I think there are a few people out there that do that kind of service.
Well, traditional agents are quite harsh, aren't they? We always said in property, you can tell the agency boys by how they dress and how they talk. But it's no one wants to deal with agency guys like that anymore, do they? They want, I think you offer a nice niche of, this is what I bring something very different to the table.
That's it. And also it's especially with the residential side, if the property is kind of in disrepair or the decoration is like dated, and it's going to be difficult to sell on the open market, it's kind of a way. Or even if it's, the property, you don't want the photos all on the internet and stuff, you just want a private kind of sale. It's kind of a nice way where I can, listen to them, see what kind of money they're looking to get for that property and try and find.
Well, you're not going to put that all over your socials either, are you?
No.
Confidentiality.
Because I have investor lists, and then a small pool of like investors, and then I would give them limited information about the properties, and then if they want more information, then they would contact me for additional.
I suppose that's quite hard, isn't it? Because you don't want them to go and speak to the guys directly and bypass you, do you?
Yes, but there are measures in place that I put in, because I have agreements with the vendor or the landlord, so those sort of things wouldn't be able to happen.
Good protection.
Have you had any investors that you've dealt with that are just like extra demanding? I know you said communication is key, and but have you had any that you've thought, gosh, why did I decide to? There can be. There have been some, but normally what happens is that relationship it fizzles out, and then I it's not going to work, because you want to enjoy your work, you want to enjoy being with that person, because you're going to be doing potentially with them for 3 to 6 months, looking for properties, or a property for them. So if you don't like them, or there's no professional respect, or it's not going to work. So you'll just communicate that back to them, and then the relationship will just naturally
fizzle out. And or if I'm able to communicate with them in a professional way, I can say to them, I know some other deal sources that specialise in that area. Maybe you might be more suited if I introduce you to that particular person or people.
What's your most common thing that investors are asking for at the moment?
Well, they want to basically put as little money in and get high returns back. So the return on investment is very important. But with the bank rates and everything, you're putting money in and you're not getting a lot
back for.
You don't want it tied up for so long either, do you?
Exactly. But in property, it is kind of one of those things where, especially if there's a property crash, if you put all your money in there and the value of the property goes down, you have to kind of think to yourself, well, it's a rental property, I'm keeping it over the long term. House prices always come back up again. Every recession or property crash we've had, it's always corrected itself. So as long as you're not in property for the quick flips and quick bucks, then you should be okay.
Roughly how long someone would keep an investment property for?
Me personally, I would say, if it is a flip property, you could potentially have it for 6 months and then it's,
you're not allowed to live in those either.
No.
Yeah.
But most people, they want to keep them for, retirement funds. So because the rent should be giving them, some cash flow so they can use that cash flow. And then and also if they get the equity capital growth from the property as well, they can pull out the equity from the property as well, and that can be, especially if they need it
for another property,
or if their children need to go to university or need a deposit for a house, they can use that money as well.
Nice.
Someone that wants to, having listening to you, they may want to go into property investment. Can you kind of share a quick tip for someone that wants to go into property investment?
I don't mind. I'd say probably how I started, looking at YouTube videos on, the specific property strategy you're interested in, because there are quite a lot out there.
Okay.
And
so is that whether you're going to go down the residential or commercial
or flips or rental or property maintenance or management, because there's so many different revenues you could go down. So it's kind of deciding what you want to do and how much like training and stuff you might need, because some people, they need like a mentor or training. Some people can watch these like YouTube videos and they can just go and do it. They don't need any support. It's kind of figuring out what kind of person you are.
Oh, okay. Because I love, thinking about property. I don't know if you watch Homes Under Hammer. So I love that. So
you work from home too long.
But you're seeing someone go. They're going to auction. I mean, do you have investors that may want you to go to an auction for them? And represent.
No, actually. I think it's more they just want the property. They don't want they want it hands off. They just want me to have it already, purchased, an offer put in, accepted.
It's more discreet, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you go to auction and stuff, everything's public and everyone knows roughly what starting price you're starting at. This sort of service is a lot more. That's what I'm saying. It's almost like behind the agents, isn't it? Because there doesn't need to be an agent. If you've got a vendor and someone wants to buy, you are the middleman. There doesn't need to be an agent as well, does there?
No.
It's a discreet service between you, and both parties should pay less then, shouldn't they? I know there's your fee,
yes,
but there's no agent fees on top to pay. But it should be beneficial for the purchaser as well.
Yes,
because they should be getting a bit cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. And even I've, noticed as well from, speaking with like mortgage advisors and mortgage brokers, they have, investors on their books. They have people that are selling properties and the sales have fallen through. So they're the sort of situations where I can help mortgage brokers to, fix those broken chains and get the sale done, because I've got investors and they want properties.
Do you need to go and speak to as well is the probate solicitors, because there will be deals to be had, and that's what a lot of the investor guys are looking for in terms of someone's just passed away and the family want to release the money quite quickly. That sort of stuff is perfect for those sort of guys because they don't want it to go to an agent, they don't want it to go on the market because everyone pays much more then, don't they?
That's it. Yeah, so those sort of connections are definitely valuable.
We'll look out for some for you.
Yeah, please. Yeah, thank you.
What's the minimum amount of money that someone could potentially invest and see a return on?
Yeah, well, in London, because like I said, it's quite expensive, so you're looking minimum like $250,000, so 250k. But if you went a bit further up, you could use that same money and probably get like 5 buy-to-lets or like single let family homes. So
London's
it's kind
expensive,
of
so minimum 250.
Yeah, I'd say for down here, if you're going to get finance, like a mortgage, or you're going to use investors, because you could use investor funds as well. But to get £1 million worth of investor funds is very...
So like a consortium, where a consortium would put money in together and go and buy somewhere.
But there are rules and regulations with that, so even if they did do that, they'd need to make sure the investors like complying with that, because they could get seriously burned.
As managing agents, commercial managing agents, that's what we used to deal with as well. Consortiums or businessmen would put money together and go and buy a big office block, and then we would just divide the rent every month between the consortium. But it's like you say, there are rules in everyone has to have their money ready to go, don't they? And
exactly. So that's. And then also you've got bridging loans as well. So, if the property is not mortgageable, so that's normally it doesn't have a kitchen or a bathroom. So if that's all ripped out, then you could get a bridging loan. And then there's some like tax things, you could potentially get tax back because of that. So it's really there's a lots of different ways that you can kind of get your money back.
So a great person to talk to.
Exactly.
Point them in the right direction. So it's not easy when you see all these flips on TV and stuff. They're not easy to do. There is a lot of hard work that goes into it, doesn't there? Like you say, minimum 6 months or so to put in. But majority of stuff isn't 6 months, especially if you're doing it yourself. And
exactly.
But
I'd normally say to people to get a property management team in, because you don't really want to manage it yourself, because people that go into property, they really want it to be outsourced and hands-free, and they don't. And even if
they do, that contractor does a proper job. A specialist in that. Yes, it's all cost you money. You can't do all that yourself, can you?
No,
people can, but it just takes you forever. It just defeats the object.
You've got time constraints, haven't you?
Exactly.
You might be paying a mortgage on it, might you?
Exactly. And bridging loans can be quite expensive, especially if you're outside of the time. As well.
Are they normally higher rates, the bridging loans?
Yes. Wow. But some bridging companies, they can, do little arrangements in regards to how payments are made. So it's kind of, I normally speak, because I can't give financial advice, I would normally say to the investor, speak to, this potential financial advisor or a mortgage broker, so they can get the financial advice they need, because I only get the properties.
Staying within your boundaries, isn't it? Your trade.
Exactly. You're based in Croydon, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
So what makes Croydon an attractive investment opportunity, despite the reputation of being perceived to be unsafe?
The reason why I picked Croydon actually as well is because it's where I live. It's where my family grow up and everything, and it's got really good potential, because it's got a shopping centre which, if they put investment into that, it could be a really good shopping hub, because you've got the train stations, you've got the tram,
it's very central, isn't it?
You've got everything there. And I just don't understand why nobody wants to invest in that area.
It's not really downhill, isn't it?
Exactly.
I was in Croydon last weekend, and there's just so many shops there, and I just thought, why don't I come to Croydon more often? And I said to myself, I need to do this more often because you've got every shop there. So it's like, what I suppose I need to think to myself, what has made me not necessarily go to Croydon, but I'll go further.
I think there's probably lots of people like you. I haven't been to Croydon shopping since the 80s.
Wow.
Right.
The last time I went to Croydon was because I had to go for accountancy books. And that was the only place that I could go to. Croydon we used to go out in the 80s, Joe Bananas and places like that. But I just wouldn't go to Croydon. I just wouldn't. I just probably wouldn't feel safe.
And for me, it's not that. It's just, I don't know. It's just.
But every high street looks like each other now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what is in Croydon is in Bromley, is in everywhere. Bexley Heath, Sidcup, it's everywhere, isn't it? All the shopping centres all look like each other now, don't they? And that's the problem. But I agree with you. I think there's a hell of a lot of property over there that has huge potential.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because the thing is, you've got quite a young population there as well, so they could be pumping into the economy and helping to grow the area, because you've got the university, you've got the college, and like I said, the trains are going into, they go to Gatwick Airport even, so you could potentially get international investment as well. So, there's, things, need to change, and I think it potentially needs to change from the council, and then once they understand that Croydon has the opportunity to be like, Peckham and Brixton, because they were all kind of those down and out kind of areas, and now look at them, they're amazing.
Totally transformed.
And I feel that Croydon can have that same sort of transformation. So
that takes a lot of money as well, doesn't it? And I know we're all going through hard times, but particularly with Croydon Council running out of money, and that doesn't help, does it?
No.
But I agree with you. I think there's a lot there that can be rescued, isn't there?
That's it. So that's why I felt that. And also, there's like parents I see at the school gates, and they're like saying, they're living in accommodation that is substandard, and I just want to kind of get to landlords, investors, and get them to take those unsafe, damp-ridden properties and do them up to a nice standard, so that people of Croydon get what
they're decent. But if they do them up as well, then they're going to be outpriced, aren't they?
So
it is a cycle, isn't it?
But it's the only way that we're going to be able to up the standards, because unfortunately, if you want a better standard of living, it costs. So.
With the university there, do you think there's a lot more investment opportunity for student accommodation?
Yes, but again, there's like legislation on that, and a lot of universities, they actually make money on student accommodation, so they'll either build or buy sort of stock for their students. So they'll either be because they've got campuses all over London, they might have a student student accommodation that those students can use.
That maybe sits in between two unis.
That's it.
So not so much, do you find? Not so much private?
But because, like I said, there's quite a young population, there probably is room for sort of shared housing for students, especially because there's going to be this generation where they can't afford to move out. So if they shared like a house together, then they can at least split the costs.
I think that's a huge thing, isn't it? We see lots of friends, we're in our 50s, and there's still lots of friends that have got 30-year-olds living with them.
They can't afford to move out.
That's very worrying, isn't it? All of us lot moved out when we were 18, 19, 20, and you've got kids that are still living with their parents 10 years longer than they need to. How do we get around that? What's your solution to that?
Gosh, like I said, I think the only way is if people do kind of share the cost, and get a property where it's almost like a bed sit, and they just all share a room. They all have rooms each, and then they have shared living space, because the the government, unfortunately, they don't support HMOs, which are houses in multiple occupation, and with that, I think that would help the housing crisis, because there's people that are rattling around in 2, 3, 4 bedroom houses, and
that's me.
Yeah, they could be. Oh, sorry. And
isn't it?
Yeah, my kids have moved out, and it's just like I'm living in a 3-story house, and I'm thinking, should I be here? And it sounds really horrible to say that, but
you're homeowner though, as opposed to you're looking to rent.
But I think lots of people still feel that guilt as well. Should we be as single adults living by ourselves in big houses when there is a need for those houses by families? But there is a house shortage everywhere, isn't there?
But then the government they're supposed to be building a certain amount of homes a year,
and they're just not building them. Or we are not building as a nation, are we? We're not building enough.
No.
There's only so many that you can build. We've only got so much land, haven't we? And you've got to build up then, haven't you?
That's it.
Yeah. Shauna, we've known each other I think a few years now.
Yes.
Both of us are huge business networkers. How has it worked for your company?
Yeah, really well, because when I first started in property investing, it was very new to me. So to have to explain, several times what I do, why I do it, it's helped to build my confidence in regards to that.
Really?
And it's meant as well that any kind of networking event that I go to, I'm like happy to go straight in there.
Yeah, so more confident.
Yes.
I can see your confidence.
Yes.
Much more in you now.
Oh, great.
Yeah. No, you do.
Please.
You're great in talking. You're not so shy. I think you stand a bit prouder as well when you're talking as well. It's brilliant for business, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to mention it. People don't want to mention BNI, but we are both members of BNI Business Networking International. It's great for for both of our businesses. And I think there's a lot of people out there that could benefit in coming to a meeting.
Yes.
Lots of companies are still trying to struggle or still struggling with trying to get back to where they were pre-COVID. And I think for me, and probably for you, it's giving that pre-qualified lead for business, which we're not going cold calling. We're not searching around the high street or through contacts. People are actually listening out for us. And that's a huge advantage, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I've made lots of, connections and even friends through it as well. It's been really nice. And I don't really... because of COVID as well, a lot of my kind of social circles kind of dwindled a bit, so it was a nice way of kind of reviving that.
Well, during lockdown we were allowed to go and do business
exactly.
So it was just like all us business guys sticking together.
Exactly.
How are we going to get out of this?
Exactly. And getting a plan together to make things work.
I think it's a huge thing to be said, isn't it, for surrounding yourself with people that are like you. And if everyone is as driven and is headed in the right direction, you feel as though you're supported, don't you?
Yeah, definitely.
In pushing, whether you're a woman or not. It's a great tool for our business, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I've really enjoyed the journey, and I'm pleased to continue.
You're just on the start of your journey as well, aren't you? How long have you been a member?
Gosh, I'm a first year member actually.
Wow.
So, but we were a core group before. I don't know if anyone knows what that means.
Yeah, just tell us what it means.
It means that because in BNI you need to have a minimum number of members. I think it's 22, and if you when you begin a chapter, normally there's maybe 5 or 6 members, and there's like a launch team that helps to grow that chapter to the magic number, and then once
they get to that number, they can launch,
Yeah.
and then they're open to the whole like net region
proper meetings, don't
and
you?
and also to the to the world basically.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's quite empowering, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It was because when you're a core group, it can be quite hard work.
Yeah, you just want it to launch. Don't you? I've done a core group as well, in addition to my own group, and that was, it took 2 years to launch that, and it's just like, oh, just keep with us, and you're just trying to find those last few members to make it worthwhile, aren't you? In launching it. But we're part of the BNI South East London region, aren't we?
Yes.
14 chapters,
I know,
which is fantastic, isn't it? I think we're up to almost like 500 members now.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants to come and inquire about a chapter, you want a different way to come and find qualified leads, drop us a line in the comments below, because myself and Shanna definitely benefit, or our companies definitely benefit from being part of that group.
Yeah, exactly. And we love visitors as well. So even if you wanted to come to see what we're about, then you never know.
It's not a mad cult, it's a mad business cult.
Yeah, exactly. I've been told that before, I have to say.
It's a cult.
Yeah.
It's not a cult. Only to our partners it's a cult, isn't it? But it's a fantastic tool for business.
Yeah.
For me, we've been members, Desk Team have been members almost 7 years now.
Wow.
I think I joined a couple of months after BNI Spitfires launched, and it's been fantastic. I just couldn't. I think it launched me faster.
Oh.
It launched my business faster. And it's like you say, it's all that. The group is fantastic support as well. It's like having a contact book that you can just phone up or text. What do I do this? How do I do this? It's a lot of free help, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
That normally you'd have to go and pay on the high street for.
That's it.
So no regrets?
No, definitely not. Because I wouldn't have met you, would I?
Exactly.
So it's like, and yourself, Sarah.
Wow.
Sorry.
She comes a set.
Oh gosh.
She's my +1.
So what I was going to say, so there may be women out there that are looking to start their own business. So would you recommend, now that you've gone through the journey, your first year at BNI, would you recommend someone who's just starting a business, that kind of needs to find their way and they're starting their journey? Would you recommend that they join a networking group early on in the start of their journey, or does it just all depend on the individual?
Yeah, that can be difficult, because when you're very new to it all, you can get lost in people that know where they're going, and especially because I joined in a core group, so it was a bit more harder. If it was an established group, like Spitfires, it would have I might have grown a bit quicker. But
I think everyone should go at their own pace.
Yeah,
we're very different people.
Yeah,
and then we're both driven, but our group has a ton of driven people in it, and I think, is like you say, it keeps you floating, doesn't it? And it keeps you moving at everyone's speed. Everyone's going at the same speed, but there are some people that need to go slower.
Yes.
That perhaps they've not done as much homework, or on their companies, they haven't got as much funding as they need, and sometimes that slower can help as well, can't it?
That's true.
Yeah.
But I'd say it's always good to come and have a go, try different networking groups, because there's so many out there, and there are online options as well. And brunch groups as well as the early morning ones.
Yeah, we've got different times. So you're at 10 o'clock one, so we're at 6:30 in the morning. So by 8:30 we're finished, and we're all going back to our offices with all these handful of leads that someone's pre-qualified. Someone's done all the legwork for you, and you've got those pre-qualified leads. And it's almost like you said earlier, it's almost like someone's handed the work to you on a plate.
That's it.
In these times, how fantastic is that?
I know, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You you only really get those from friends and family that really know you. So to get that from...
I've spoken to him, I've qualified you.
Exactly.
Yeah, go and sign on the line.
That's it.
Yeah.
And there's like 20 to 50 members. So if you get even a couple of those a week, that's some people that could be all they need.
That's a game
for
changer,
their business.
I mean, I'm not part of the business networking group. I know Sharon is. Sharon has her other business, Desti.
Yeah.
But where we've got the women in business together, I haven't joined, because I'm kind of new myself, and so now that you're saying about it is worth joining it. But it's just taking that step.
I think a lot of the chapters have very different personalities, don't they?
Honestly.
And you've got to find the chapter that suits your personality.
Yeah.
That's a big as well.
Yeah. Because and that's what some people do as well. They'll kind of visit different chapters and then see which one's gonna work for them.
So visit by dipping your toe into visit and then see.
And then talking to those members maybe outside of the meeting to see if that's the
so we're all encouraged to have one-to-ones, aren't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Which are just meetings, getting to know what each other does, seeing what contacts we have that can help each other.
Yeah.
And that's the success of it growing, isn't it? The one-to-ones are where you actually thrive and can really delve in and also bond on a social level, can't you? Because if you like someone, you're more likely to go out of your way to get business for them. And
exactly.
Yeah, I think the chapters for me, they're more like football teams.
Yes.
Aren't they? It's just like, not everyone likes the same football team. And it's just like, for me, I can't leave. I can't go to another chapter. I can't leave Spitfires and go to another one because it would feel like I'm letting my team down, my football team down.
That's
it's all about choosing the right team.
Yeah, you've got to choose the right team. Yeah.
That's it. Because even it might not even be the one that's near to where you live. It might be the one near to where you work, or it just kind of depends, and also your business model as well. It depends on the types of people or businesses you want to connect with, because there might be one that's heavy on trades, one that's on services. So it's kind of seeing who's in the room and seeing who you could help and they could help you.
Yeah. I think that's a good,
isn't it?
And that's a good point. You're not actually selling to the room. You're just teaching them how to listen out for you, and that's the thing that a lot of people get wrong with B&I. It's just like, it's not giving me enough, but it's how much are you actually putting in yourself, because it does take time, doesn't it? Exactly. And it's getting to know people and those relationships growing that you actually get more work from, isn't it? But you've got to be willing to give in the first place. You can't come to them. They don't work for people who come and want to just harvest the hunters. They just doesn't work for. People see through you. It's about building the relationship, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Because
that will help you grow.
No, it's true. Because even when I've seen visitors come that are in the same category and they're interested, you can kind of see which one would make a good member. Yeah. And potentially they might make a better member in another chapter, but not in our chapter. Because even if you apply, we need to know as a chapter that you would work for us as well as you work for it's got to work both ways basically.
What is one lesson that you've learned in your career that you wish you knew when you first started?
Like I said, in regards to the training, I wish that I just concentrated on one training provider instead of bouncing from one to the other and stuff. I wish I'd just had one training program, one mentor, and just
focus.
But because during COVID there was a lot of free courses around, so I kind of went to that one, then I went to that one, and it kind of confused me, and I ended up having information overload. So
you felt pressure.
And then I just felt like, why aren't I getting anywhere? And it was because my brain was like, and I couldn't. I felt almost suffocated. So I'd say, if I could start again, I would just, do one training course, pay for a mentor to help me push me through, and that would be it.
And do it. What trends do you foresee for your industry?
Yeah, well, at the moment, because I've been speaking with quite a few mortgage advisors and brokers, and there's people that are on the fixed mortgage rates. A lot of them are coming to an end. I think over $1 million next year.
Wow.
So, and they may not meet the affordability checks.
Wow.
because you know there's a lot of people that are in debts and stuff already. So it's kind of, you know, making people aware that if they need to sell because they can't, either they're going to go on a standard rate, or the rate that they're going to be put on is going to be too high for them to afford to pay the mortgage. It's kind of using people like myself to, you know, link to investors so that we can, you know, so they can purchase their properties and make it so it's a win-win. So hopefully they'd have enough money to either rent a property or have a deposit to buy like
and that's
a
over the next
place.
year, do you reckon?
Yes, yeah. So there's going to be
a lot of movement in the housing market.
Yeah, exactly. Cause, and also the banks, I think they're getting a bit nervous because they don't really want to repossess properties because it costs a lot of money to do that. So they're hoping that the government will, you know, do something to help those, you know, particular, you know, individuals.
And that's the annoying thing for me as well. It's like, if we can foresee this happening, we do need to bring the bloody base rate down a bit, don't we? To be able to, come on, let's, I know that's, you know, it's always good to change a market as well. And there would be a lot of opportunity, wouldn't there, for people to come and purchase. But there's also got to be a lot of houses smaller than people would like to go and buy something else, hasn't there?
Yeah, exactly. And there's even places outside of London where there's rows and rows of houses that are empty, and you know they just need to kind of think about what they're doing about the empty and vacant properties.
Yeah. Would you say there were many of that sort in London still? Or?
Yeah, there's quite a lot because there's these guardians, they call them, where people will rent a room or something in a empty either commercial or residential property, and then some of them will even just put boarding up and hope squatters don't go in there. But it's a shame because you know those properties could be brought up to a livable standard. And
just on that front, is squatting illegal in Resi now, isn't it?
Yes.
But it's not illegal in commercial.
Yeah, that's the problem.
My first building we had as under desk team. The minute I signed the lease, I got squatters that first week.
No.
And it was, the solicitor was saying, you can't be rude to them, you can't be this, you've got to say this, you're not allowed to do this. And I'm just like, I have just signed the bloody lease. There's no way that these guys are getting in there. They've got posters up all around the building. We live here, you can't evict us, you can't do this. And I would not tell you the language I used, but it was just like, there's no way that I've just signed this lease on this big commercial building and that squatters are going to come in, the Daddy's Trust Fund boys, to take over that property, and I get lumbered with huge electricity bills. It's all the damage they do to properties as well, isn't it?
That's it.
Yeah, it's really worrying. But make that illegal, make bloody commercial properties illegal to squat in as well.
Well, that's something we'd have to lobby to, you know, Parliament to get that through. And only if it kind of affects the ministers does things change, I find. So, or if a lot of people lobby and complain about a specific subject, then the legislation does change.
Thank you, Shanna, for your time today.
Pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.